All right, as we get up into this quadrant here and we start to think about strategic thinking, some people might feel, and I think initially when I learned about metacognition, I thought, oh, that's just crazy. Like maybe it's fluffy. What would you say to someone who says metacognition is a bunch of hocus pocus? What would be your rebuttal to that?
Well, the flip answer is you don't understand your own brain because you're doing it all the time. Just by the fact that you've said it's fluffy means you've thought about it, which means you've engaged in metacognition because you had to reflect for a moment on what you believe. So that person's very statement is counter to the whole argument that metacognition is fluffy. It is part of how our brain works. We are sentient beings. We have consciousness, so which we reflect on things and we think about things and we are consciously aware of our thinking. And when I think about strategic thinking, it could be as simple as goal setting, which is a metacognitive behavior. Do I have a goal? Am I willing to allocate resources to accomplish that goal? Do I collect any evidence that my progress is going to allow me to meet this goal? That's a strategic thinking behavior. The same is true in some of the comprehension work. If I said earlier, inferencing, if you don't know how to inference, it becomes, the teacher shows you, and then it becomes very much part like, I'm going to make an inference now. It's conscious, intentional, right? So, I watch kids, as they progress in mathematics, and I was looking at fractional exponents, a lesson on fractional exponents. And I watched this kid do a little think aloud to himself to process this. That's strategic thinking. Like, okay, I have to remember this. Okay, I have to do this. I have to do this. That's strategic thinking. The processing, the conscious awareness of your thinking is that idea of strategic thinking. And for my best evidence, to move something from strategic thinking down into fluent behavior requires teachers to model and then give students feedback. See, stamina is a practice effect, but strategic thinking is around examples of other people that you can then incorporate. And I think online distance is ideal for strategic thinking. We can video record our own modeling. We can invite students to watch that video over and over to get a sense of how we thought about it. So I watched a teacher, happened to be second grade. They were looking at riddles related to mathematics, and the answers were solid figures. And she says to her class video, so I'm going to use process of elimination to solve this riddle, but there are other ways to solve this riddle. So she brought something to conscious awareness, process of elimination. She modeled it through, and then the students were asked to do the same thing, not using process of elimination, but to solve the riddle to figure out which solid figure was the answer. So teachers model, and this is ideal. We can model easily using video. The harder part is to give kids feedback. So when her students started solving riddles, she had to listen in, she had to help them think. And what she did is she had them record their process to solve the riddle so that she could listen to the audio recordings and then give them feedback. That's how she did it in a distant space. So the idea of strategic thinking is simply to make thinking visible.
I like it.
So that others can start to process it and incorporate it, own that thinking. So slowly it starts to move down into your fluent behavior.
Great, great. Like you said, goal setting is another one of those. That's one of those big picture things that can happen in that quadrant that can help people with anything. So I think I see the importance
Yes.
of it. It's not fluff. All right, I'll
Yeah,
pause.
I hope not.
I'll pause